Hey everyone, I'm Scotty Whitehurst. I'm the director, assistant writer, executive producer, and I play Link.
I am Norris, and I am the writer, executive producer, director of cinematography, AD, and I play the Moblin King.
Hi, I'm Kevin Johnson. I play Messenger.
Hey, I'm Jillian Rochelle, and I play Zelda.
Hello, my name is Michael Day, and I'm one of the executive producers.
Hi, my name is Irene White, and I play Nayru and Kutake.
No,
Kouma. Can't remember which one I was.
Hello, my name is Schrimpshire. I'm playing Zant from Twilight Princess, but in the movie he will be replaced as one of the moblins.
Hey guys, I'm Dominick Brown. I play as a mummy and a moblin. It's so beautiful.
Hi, my name is Brady, and I play the captain of the moblins, Bulbin.
You don't have any friends.
Shut up!
So Scotty, you once said that there would not be another Zelda. Why now another one?
You know, I get a lot of feedback, positive and a little negative, on the first Triforce Prophecy, and you know, I was having some questions. I was like, you know what, I think I can do this better. I kind of wanted to try again, but I didn't want to do it immediately after Triforce Prophecy. I wanted to like do something else, and then it just started. People still kept like, oh hey, you should totally do another one. You should totally do another one. I'm like, okay, well, what's the idea? So I asked around like Norris for like, man, you said you had an idea, like pitch it to me, let's see what we got, because I was just all out of ideas. So once I heard the story, you know, I just started thinking about like, okay, this is something that I like. I actually want to see this happen, and I can feel redeemed.
So Jay, how did you get started on this?
I got started pretty much after I watched the first movie, the Triforce Prophecy. Almost instantly, you know, being a writer, like my writer side kicked in on me, and ideas started coming to me for a potential sequel to this. And I actually messaged Scotty, you know, not long after that, and saying, after I'd come up with a basic idea, and was like, hey, I think I know where your next Zelda movie, what direction it needs to go in. Which that didn't really get anywhere at the time because he was still tied up with filming G.I. Joe. And then a year and a half later, he messages me and is like, hey, didn't you say you had an idea for a sequel to the Triforce Prophecy? And I'm like, yeah. And he said, well, we're planning on making a sequel, so come meet up and show us what you got.
So Kevin, what attracted you to the movie?
Everything, really. I wanted to work, first and foremost. I like what I do. I love working with the family and the team that we have, starting off from Joe. Anytime Scotty Whitehurst is going to ask me to do a project, I'm going to do it.
So Michael, what attracted you to this project?
Scotty Whitehurst asked me to do it. I was very honored and very surprised because I am one of the people on this production that does not live in Mississippi, so I have to come from a long way when I can make it out to filming.
Yeah, where are you from, Michael?
I live right outside of Washington, D.C.
Tell us, how does this movie, how does it differ from the first movie?
Oh, it differs because the first one was all about being more true to like the cartoon, the game, just very cutesy, you know, like boy likes girl, girl hates guy, you know, situation brings them together, they fall in love, bad guy comes in, he saves the day, good guy saves the day. So it's like, it was kind of that story. This one is completely different. The character Link is completely thrown out of his element, and he's lost, he's alone, he doesn't know what to do, and that's, to me, that's like really cool. I want to see this story.
Tell us about writing the story and the script. Where did this all come from?
Well, I actually, I pretty much had the idea of doing a trilogy. And, like, in truth, this movie is actually technically was the part 3 of it. For a lot of reasons, we didn't end up going and making the part 2, which I could be here all day naming those, and we decided to go on ahead and do this one. And pretty much with this, I wanted it to be like that perfect closing chapter of a trilogy. You know, like that like the Return of the Jedi, or you know, so on, something like that. That's just like that absolute satisfying ending that, you know, would leave a fan, you know, feeling completely satisfied, and you know, not going, oh, you know, necessarily being like, oh, I can't wait to see where they go with it next. Just feeling satisfied that they got to experience this whole series from beginning to end, and this just being that ending that just keeps people on the edge of their seat and just like tense the entire time. Just how's it going to end, you know? How does the character of Link himself, how does he differ from the way he was in the first movie, personally?
This Link he's so much more, he's more mature, he's got more maturity to him, but it's, you know, at this point, the beginning of the movie, he's been a king for like 40 years now, and so he has that mentality like, I'm a king and everything's beneath me, you know, completely opposite of what he was in the first one. And to just, you know, and then he gets sit back in time and it's completely just like, he has that same mentality, but he's back in his younger body form, and he's just like, what do I do? Like, oh, go fight these moblins and stuff. Like, I don't know how to fight again. I haven't done it for 40 years. So it's a completely different character. And he still has that same attitude, but it's more, he's still same cockiness that he had from the first one, but it's also that I'm an older, mature adult. Like, who are you to tell me what to do? I'm the freaking king of Hyrule. So, yeah.
And Jillian, how does it feel to be Zelda?
Empowering.
Really?
A little bit, because she's like very elusive, kind of. I wasn't quite sure who Zelda was in the context of the game completely. When you first asked me about, when you first came to me to be Zelda, I was just like, cool. And I asked my boyfriend, I was like, okay, so Zelda, tell me what you know. And we had a very long talk.
And then you realized that Zelda was the girl, not the guy?
Well, I knew Link was the guy. I thought Zelda might be the place.
Ah.
Okay, yeah.
Originally, I wasn't supposed to play this character called Messenger. I'm not going to say which character I was going to play, but we decided on playing Messenger, which is not an original character. He's completely made up. He's nothing to go off of. And I had to come up with a background for Messenger, which was a big challenge.
Well, tell us about your take on the goddess Nayru. Tell us what she's like.
Nayru is almost like the voice of reason between the sisters. She's a little bit more hesitant to jump in and do things, like Din is more, you know, capable of just saying, okay, let's go do this. And she tends to say, well, what if? But in saying that, she still bows to the will of her sisters as a combined unit.
So, what do you think of your two sisters?
You seriously want me to say that? No, they're gorgeous. I love them.
So, how do you see this character?
She's troubled, but she's fun. She wants to enjoy all that she does have.
Right.
The little things. And then Link and the Messenger come along and she's like, alright, now I have a reason for being here rather than just surviving.
Well, where did you draw your inspiration for Messenger? Like, was there any role models you looked up to?
Yeah, a lot. There was two main ones. Johnny Depp, of course. I don't want to say I stole anything from Pirates of the Caribbean, but some of his mannerisms, without the drunkenness. Some of my new Bennett stuff from Crixus, always. I draw inspiration from him. The Riddler from Batman. The bad guy from Sherlock Holmes, I don't know his name, but I got it from him. The guy from the commercials, and we all drive Jaguars. That guy. A little bit of Hugo Weaver, is that his name?
Mhm.
Yeah, a little bit from him as well. So a bunch of different combinations, but I had to make him his own, and that was kind of a challenge, but I really enjoyed it.
How do you see the character?
She's fun, very kind of flirtatious, whimsical character. The Zelda I play is. She's also very troubled. She's had a hard life, but she's making do with. She keeps going back to, oh, this is all I know. This is the only thing I've ever had. But she's obviously having a good time, and she knows Hyrule very well.
So you're also the Moblin King. Tell us about that guy.
That is, that guy is determined to feel like he's more important than what he actually is. That's really what I gather from him. Yeah, he's got a step ahead of the other Moblins in that he's a little bit smarter, but he really feels just as inferior as the rest of them do. He's just to himself lucky in the fact that the others are too stupid to realize it, and for whatever reason they see him as superior to them and they follow him, and he's desperate to feel like he deserves that. And so he's determined that, to prove to himself and also to his father that he is a supreme being even over the goddesses.
Does he care about the Moblins, or
Not
does he
at
care
all.
for his own game?
He doesn't care about anyone but himself. And that's it. He's smart enough to realize that he needs this army to accomplish what he wants, but he could care less about any of them.
So you say your character's named Bulbin. How do you see your character? Like, what's he like? Tell us about him.
He's very submissive to the Moblin King. Like, the Moblin King slaps him, leaves him for dead, yells at him, and he always is just by his side, trying to do his best to please him.
How do you see your Moblin character? What do you think of him?
I would say that Carock, he's almost the same as all the Moblins. They're very gruesome, they're tough. I mean, they're not exactly smart, but I mean, if you would come across one of these guys, I mean, you wouldn't be around for so much longer.
So what does he want? What's his goal? Does he want to be the next Moblin King, or does he want to just be, like what does he want?
I think in the back of Bulbin's mind, he really would like the throne of the Moblin King. Like, he thinks he's better suited for it, but he dares not show that to the Moblin King, else he gets backhanded.
Yeah.
How do you yourself feel about the decision to, this time around, incorporate more creatures, mainly the Moblins, into the story and into the film?
I actually wanted Moblins in the first one. I was a young filmmaker at the time, wasn't really that experienced, but I didn't know how. I was going I can't computer generate them, so I'm like, well, I guess I just won't have them and just focus on the love story. But this one, I knew it was going to be a darker tale, and I really, really wanted those characters in there. So I'm excited to have the Moblins. There's more battles in this one. There's just a lot more action. There's a lot more danger, tension. It's a really good movie.
So, what's Link's relationship like with the character, the Messenger?
He sees the Messenger as, he kind of popped up out of nowhere when everything bad was happening, and then he lost his wife, and so I think he wanted to place some blame on Messenger, but then Messenger says, I can bring her back, if you come with me, we can bring her back. And I was like, okay, well, maybe he's not totally bad after all. Okay, how? I want to save her. What can I do? And so he sends him back in time. And so immediately when Messenger wakes Link up, I think the first thing Link does is punches Messenger in the face, just cause. He's like, why am I here? What you said you were going to help me save my wife, where is she then? So, and then there's a lot of, as they go on this journey, Messenger deals with riddles, and it just drives Link up the wall. And he just, I don't know, he doesn't trust Messenger right away, but then as the story goes along, he does, and then he meets the other Zelda, and all this other drama unfolds, and then then his focus starts to go away from Messenger to the other Zelda.
So, what's the relationship between Messenger and Link?
I think that Messenger actually looks up to Link more than Link thinks that Messenger does. And I think ultimately Messenger wants to serve Link under certain circumstances, but can't. And he has to take on this authoritative figure, like I'm in charge. But sometimes he isn't in charge, and he knows it. Sometimes he's lost, but he has to stay in control, stay in power. And I think he feels really bad for Link, and I think that if he could have done anything else, he would have. And I don't think he wants to use Link as a tool, but that's basically what he's doing. And he doesn't want to. And if he could sacrifice himself to save Link, Hyrule, and Zelda, he would. And I think he's already tried that and failed. So he'll do whatever he can. I think he really loves Link. I think he really does, because he went through a lot of trouble for Link.
So, what's your relationship with your Link?
The Dark Link?
The Dark Link.
The Dark Link. The Stockholmie.
Yeah?
He's not very there emotionally. He's kind of absent from her, and she just keeps holding on and hoping that he'll love her back.
What's the relationship between Messenger and Zelda?
I don't think that he likes Zelda, the thief Zelda, at first. And neither does she at all either. I think she's smarter than she appears. It's her land, she doesn't trust him, and she has every right not to. It's not till a certain point to the movie that they actually do become friendly.
That other Zelda. What are your thoughts? What is Link's thoughts in relationship with her?
The first time when he sees her and meets her, he doesn't know who this chick is. And then when she says that her name's Zelda, he's like, "Hold up, this is not my wife. Like, who? Like, you promised my wife. This is not my wife." To Messenger, and then she is completely different than his wife. And then as they talk more, they start to learn about their similarities, and I think that's kind of what draws them closer together to each other. And then, then he starts to kind of separate from Messenger because of her, and just stuff happens.
Well, what about this new Link that comes?
Dreamy.
He's dreamy.
So dreamy. But also emotionally unavailable, and that's what I like in a Link.
So what does he think about the heroes? Link, Zelda, Messenger? What do you think about them?
I think that, he has past experience with Zelda. And I think that there's maybe kind of like a rivalry thing going back to like a lot of their past stuff that they've been through, because he's captured her a couple times. She's dealt with a lot of his moblins and things like that. Link, I don't think he really cares one way or the other about. Link just happens to be there while he's on this quest that he's been put on. And, if he gets in the way, he has to be eliminated, but he doesn't really have thought or feeling on him one way or the other. And Messenger, to not spoil anything, you'll just have to watch the movie for that one.
Well, what do you think of the Moblins and their Moblin King?
Well, is that coming from Nayru, or is that coming from Kouma?
Let's start with Nayru.
Okay, Nayru is... She has kind of a love-hate relationship with the Moblin King. She knows he's necessary to the cause, but she really would rather not use him.
You said the goddesses. What's your relationship to the goddesses? What do you like about them? What do you hate about them?
Well, talking about me personally, or
the character, the Moblin
character?
King, yeah.
The character, he hates everything about them because they actually have what he wants. They actually are all powerful. They actually are respected by the people of Hyrule, and that's what he wants. And so he hates them in that respect, and he's determined that somehow, some way, he's going to trump them and, you know, obtain, you know, superiority over even them. But at the same time, he is admittedly going about doing the things he does because he very much fears them too.
So, what are your feelings toward the Moblin King?
I hate the guy. No, I can't stand the Moblin King.
Well, you think he's too bossy?
He's beyond bossy. Oh man, I hate him.
But don't you think he has like your best interests? You know?
Kind of. Sure.
So, what are your feelings as the character for the Moblin King?
I kind of have a love-hate relationship from I'm codependent on the Moblin King. Like, I need him. Like, I don't know what I'd do without him. But yet I hate him. I kind of want him dead. He treats me like crap. But yet again, I need him.
Yeah. And so, do you think he needs you? Is that why you think he's keeping you around until...
I think I help him with what he needs to get done. That not as much would get done without me.
Okay, and what about Kouma?
Kouma? She can't get enough of him. She's a little wildcat.
Very touchy-feely?
Oh, definitely.
Why does Messenger hate Moblins?
It's really anything really. They've got some kind of past. I mean, maybe he's battled them for many years, and maybe that's his origin. Maybe his family's gone because of that. Who knows, really? But I know he hates them. There's not a lot of things that he does like.
But Moblins is definitely...
Moblins is
right
definitely
at
one of the top ones that he hates.
What about this Messenger guy? What do you think about him?
I don't know what to think about him. Honestly,
You feel sorry for him? Or you like him?
No, I don't feel so. He put himself in the situation that he's in, and he got stuck with me. So I guess I do kind of feel sorry for him.
By comparison, how does Link feel about his wife? Because you say that he's on this thing to, you know, because Messenger said he can save his wife. I mean, obviously a lot of love for her. How would you describe Link's feelings and thoughts towards his wife?
So in the first film, The Triforce Prophecy, he was so in love with his wife, and he wanted her so bad, and then he fought together, and she fought not to get him, but then, you know, the circumstances brought them together, and they fell in love, and they got married at the end of the film. And then at the beginning of this movie, Oblivion Rising, she is taken away from him. And so that completely shatters his entire world. And so he's now given this opportunity to go back and try and do whatever. He'll do whatever it takes to save her. If it means, you know, destroying the Triforce again, he'll do it. If it means killing Messenger, he'll do it. Because he just wants to get back to his wife, no matter the cost. And as he goes on his journey, he learns that that cost is very, very high.
So how knowledgeable are you of the Zelda series and franchise?
I had heard about it. I really didn't know much about it at all. I've learned as I have gone by asking friends, and very surprisingly, how many people do know Zelda. And I do go to conventions, and I started recognizing Zelda outfits at conventions before I didn't know who they were dressed up as.
Yeah. Did you know the Zelda stories prior to this?
Knew absolutely nothing about it.
So you
I'd heard that it was a video game, but that was all I knew.
So you had to do your research, huh?
Yeah, we'll say that. I learned as I went.
Because Zelda, well, when she's the princess, she's kind of elusive when you're playing the game. She's not really involved until the last bit. I learned that from my boyfriend. He told me all about the Zelda in the Hyrule.
So you didn't know anything?
Did not know anything at all except for that it was a video game.
Are you familiar with the Zelda stories and games?
I mean, I played them as a child, but I never really got into Zelda till this movie.
Are you familiar with the Zelda stories and games prior to the filming?
I used to talk to my mom about it. She played them. She was a big Zelda fan. She was like trying to explain to me all the different Kokuri Chow. I was like, shh, be quiet. And then I got involved in this, and I've started to learn more about it.
Are you familiar with the Zelda series and the games and stuff? Do you have
Vaguely.
any knowledge of Zelda prior to the
A
film?
little bit of knowledge. You know, when I was a kid, I played Zelda on Nintendo, the first Nintendo, but not as much knowledge as you or Jay or some other people might would have, or some of the fans that we have, especially with the Triforce. But it was very important for me to get that information before I took on the role, and during filming too. I learned as much as I could from fans and from our team. But yeah, I didn't know as much as you guys did, which was kind of a challenge. Being on set with you guys, knowing everything, I was kind of felt out of place. But everybody else did too. You guys are awesome. But yeah, I learned a little bit and learned more every day. And I learn more from our fans than I do from anybody, because they have certain websites that we go on, try to support. They try to support us as well, and I learn a lot from them. And I'm really happy that I haven't gotten much flack from playing a character that's not even really part of the game series. And that means a lot to me too.
Are you familiar with the Zelda stories and games?
I played Zelda ever since I was a little kid, from the Nintendo 64 to now the Wii. I played GameCube, Game Boy, you name it. I played the story multiple times.
So which one's your favorite out of all the games?
I have to say, Majora's Mask is really fun, and I do know there's a lot of people who love that one the most, but I have to say mine's the favorite. It's Ocarina of Time, because they had to redo that one. For one part under the underwater city, it had to be redone because it was impossible to beat.
So I assume you were a Zelda fan before this?
Oh yeah, big time.
You played the games?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your favorite game, man?
Probably Majora's Mask.
Why Majora's Mask?
Well, see, I got the first one that got me heavily into the series was the Ocarina of Time, which ranks up there too. Majora's Mask, gameplay wise and all that kind of stuff, was pretty much about the same game as Ocarina of Time, but just kind of that story and a lot of the characters that were introduced in that one. I actually, in one early draft of this movie, I actually wanted to put the Skull Kid in this thing, but we couldn't figure out a way at the time to make that work, so that didn't happen. But yeah, just the characters, kind of the mood, that dreary kind of mood that game had, which is kind of what this movie ended up having as well.
You also worked as a camera assistant. So how was that? Tell us that.
I was pretty nervous at first. I really didn't. I was afraid I would mess something up, but I mean, it was still a great learning experience. I'm glad I can assist as much as I could.
So Jeffrey, have there been any injuries on set?
Injuries? I think Dominick may have tripped one time on set. Yeah, Scotty, our director, he's very professional with the fights, what he does, and nobody really tends to get injured. I got stabbed once, just once, with a sword, the Master Sword. So that was fun.
So yeah, sorry about that. So Irene, how did you come up with the look for the costumes and the makeup?
A lot of it was looking at pictures online and in books about the storyline themselves, and some of it was input from people that knew more about the characters.
So you're the cinematographer as well, so what's that like?
That was scary, because I pretty much got thrown into it because the guy that was going to do it ended up not doing it. And pretty much we get out first day on set filming, and the only experience I had with it is when we filmed the first teaser, watching the original cinematographer do his thing on completely different equipment and with a completely different approach. And then we get out to the first day of filming, and Scotty's just pretty much like, alright, here you go. That button makes it record. That button makes it zoom. This little turny thing makes it focus. Have fun. And I mean, yeah, he didn't like completely just throw me in like sink or swim. He gave me little pointers here or there, but for the most part, it was pretty much up to me to figure out how to work everything, and also kind of figure out how I wanted everything to look, how I wanted shots to look, and all that. And you know, to his credit, he gave me a lot of freedom to kind of play around and like, you know, see some shots that I wanted to try to do artsy type things with, and just kind of see if it works. And some of it did, and some of it didn't. But yeah, he really gave me the freedom to just goof around with it and just see what I can come up with.
And as I said this for the other film, you know, this movie's not for every single Zelda fan. Some are going to love it, some are going to hate it. You know, it's fine. Just do with it what you want. But, you know, this is coming from all of us. And I just want to say that I've had a blast working on this film. I think it's a great story. Even if it wasn't Zelda, it's still something that I would want to see. And, you know, it's all about, there's some great acting in this. And it's some great characters in the story, and you know, we got all these like surprises, and like if you've seen the trailers, you're totally misled because there's a lot going on that you don't know, and those surprises you're really gonna love.
Actually, you know, coming from someone that's never, you know, known a whole lot about Zelda beforehand, I hope that it will reach out to a new group of people that can appreciate the storyline. Like a lot of movies that come out 10, 20 years after, you get an entirely different group of people watching. And I hope that that's what this will accomplish.
What do I want? I want people to enjoy it and be surprised also. Because some people go in thinking, oh, is Link and Zelda, you know, is it really a love story? Or is it an adventure? You know? And I want at the end for it to be clear that it's a love adventure.
It's a love adventure.
It's a love of adventure.
My main goal is to please the fans. That's my main goal. My second goal is to get better as an actor and help create a movie that everybody enjoys. Mainly, even if you're not a fan of the movie, I hope the story is well enough that anybody can watch it and enjoy it.
I hope that it continues to satisfy a lot of the audience of the Triforce Prophecy the same way it satisfied me when I watched it. And it satisfies that desire that they all had, myself included, for a sequel to happen. And continues to, you know, build their interest in our series, you know, in case of the possibility of, you know, more to come later on or whatever type of thing like that. The same way that, basically, I hope that it does everything that it did, that the Triforce Prophecy did for people, plus more, like on a bigger scale.
It's amazing, and it's an amazing experience. I mean, the words are undescribable.
Enjoy it. It's really, it's something you could sit down and dream about in class. Or dream about in the office. It's a daydream. It's something that you're probably not going to be able to think of on your own.
You guys can expect a really great movie, and it was made by a small team, and they really did the best with what they had, and their best is very good, and hail the king.
I would really like them to understand this concept, and that it's a takeoff from a previous film that Scotty had done, and it just kind of builds onto the characters that were built then, and hopefully people will enjoy it and have a fun adventure, love story, and just have a great time watching it.
Enjoy the show. Hope you love it.
Yeah, come watch us. Come see us.
And oh look, I dropped my pen. Will you please pick it up for me?
Seriously? I had to say it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Irene.
I just want to, thank Scotty for taking a chance on a writer that pretty much had no published work, pretty much had nothing to prove himself with yet. pretty much the only thing I had going for me as a writer was me saying, hey, I'm a writer and I wrote this, check it out. And, you know, he took a chance on, you know, the work that I put forward, and I feel like we're both, as a result, coming out with a product that, you know, is going to be very creatively satisfying to both of us, and, you know, opening up the possibility for us to work on a lot of different stuff even after Zelda's come and gone. And mainly just thank him for the opportunity, and thank the rest of the team that, you know, pretty much helped welcome me in to the family greatly, and I really appreciate you guys.
Final words? Final thoughts?
I don't think, Scotty.
And let's get...
Good job.
Yeah, let's get you lounging on that couch.
Yeah.
Like you own the place.
Be patient, it's coming, and enjoy the movie. I know we have, and it's been a lot of fun. And thank you for your support.
Guys, I started writing this thing for because I was a fan of it the same way you were, and for the same reason that you guys are looking forward to this film, I am still a fan of it and wanted a sequel just as badly as you do, so I promise you, you will not be disappointed in what we come up with.
Enjoy the film, have a great time, and spread the word. Tell other Zelda fans and other movie fans, you know, to come check it out. So, thanks.
I'm going to finish up by reposing a question that was posed to you during the Triforce prophecy. Will there be another Zelda?
Another Zelda. And I'm gonna do exactly what I did with the other one. Will there be a sequel? You'll have to find out.